welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
This is a tale of two bocks.
Tale of two bocks.
It's an accidental bock. Chris Colby and I came up with this base recipe on Basic Brewing Radio in the recipe development series. He calls it a my bock. Is that a you bock?
That's none of my bock.
I want to call it a Hellas bock, but it turned into like, what the hell is going on with this? Because with the local homebrew store, I think there was a miscommunication of some sort. And so on the first time I brewed this beer, I got the wrong ingredients, or a wrong ingredient. And so I looked at the wort. This is the wrong ingredient beer. I looked at the wort and I was like, boy, that looks awfully dark. And so I communicated, and we found out that instead of the Vienna malt that is called for, the Vienna-based malt that's called for in the recipe, I accidentally got 20 Lovibond caramel Vienna.
Aha.
So that makes a difference, turns out.
You think?
So what I'm going to do is you'll see footage of me brewing the original beer, which was with the mistaken ingredients.
This one.
But then I'll talk about the intended recipe. And by the way, we're boiling water. We're doing a video, a behind-the-scenes video available for Patreon people.
Yep.
For the juicer, the steam juicer that I bought, and we're going to do some mulberries. Anyway.
Oh, nice. I thought this was the hot water soup episode.
Yeah, and it's almost done.
I love hot water soup.
Okay. So I started with more water than I usually do because this is a higher gravity beer. So I started with 9 gallons or 34 liters of water at 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 C. To that, I added 9 pounds or 4 kilograms of Avant-Garde pills, 4 pounds or 1.8 kilograms of Vienna malt, in the good one, or in the proper one. In the improper one, I did 20 Lovibond, 4 pounds, 1.8 kilograms of 20 Lovibond caramel Vienna. I mashed for 90 minutes at 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 C. I forgot to mention when we were shooting the video that since this was such a high gravity beer, I decided to use my recirculating pump with my Warthog system to spray wort over the top of the grain that had been taken from under the bag at the bottom of the kettle to increase my efficiency a little bit. And at the beginning of this boil, I added 2 ounces or 56 grams of Hallertau Mittelfrüh at 5.4% alpha acid. I boiled because my target original gravity was 1070. I boiled for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Okay.
So that got us down to our target original gravity. At this time, I usually don't make a starter with imperial yeast, but this time I did. I made a 2-liter starter with LO9 Que Bueno, which is a lager yeast. By the way, this is a no-chill batch. So the day of brewing, I racked into a no-chill container. The next day, I racked it into the fermenter, and then I added the dregs of that starter of LO9 Que Bueno. And boy, that 2-liter starter of fresh Que Bueno, I pitched at 10 o'clock in the morning. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was very active fermentation.
Wow.
At 57 degrees Fahrenheit or 14 C. So I don't know. You can't overdo it because we want a cleanly fermented beer.
Right.
But
So the Que Bueno is muy caliente.
yeah, muy fuerte, sí. So I brewed on the 10th, pitched on the 11th, did a diacetyl rest 2 days later because it was already starting to slow down, and then kegged on the 16th. So, and then it's been in the fridge or in the kegerator lagering. So, can you tell the difference between the? Here's the original recipe. And it's a golden color, like a light copper color, I'd say, wouldn't you say? And then this one is more of a rubyish, reddish, almost brownish color.
A reddish hue.
A reddish hue. So, oh, by the way, the stats on this, the original gravity, 1068 on the first batch, 1069 on the second, Final gravity 1012 on the darker batch, 1010 on the lighter batch for ABV of 7.4%, 7.8% here. So number one, with that much crystal malt, essentially, I was amazed that this beer fermented out as far as it did. I was expecting it to be gloppy and sweet and syrupy and undrinkable. But we're ahead of ourselves. Let's taste the intended recipe. Cheers to Chris Colby for helping me come up with the recipe. Whether it's a Hellesbock, would you call it a Hellesbock or just a Maibach? I don't know. We get in trouble when we try to name styles on this program. So
we tend to kind of shoot from the hip.
That's right. We're especially Chris Colby. He's like styles, schmiles.
Styles, schmiles.
Okay, enough talking. On to the drinking. It smells great. To me, it's very malty and clean. Would you? That's 7.8% alcohol. Would you think that that's? It is. You can tell it's a big beer.
It's a big beer. It's not small.
No.
But it doesn't drink like a big heavy, wee heavy or something like that.
Oh. There's enough hops to make it interesting. The malt is nice and fresh.
That's a delicious beer.
Yeah.
That is a delicious beer.
Thank you. It's not something that you'd want to drink a bunch of all at once, sitting out on the porch after you've mowed the lawn.
No, it's not a lawnmower beer, that's for sure.
But it's mighty tasty.
That's a super good beer. It would pair well with any food, really. I mean, any food that goes with beer would go with this. Delicious beer. I want a big German pretzel right now. Just dunk it.
Now, the Que Bueno did a really good job, of just powering through that, and it's super clean. There's no diacetyl. There's no, DMS. There's no fermentation off flavors at all that I can detect.
You've probably said this, but how old is this? How many?
Now, that one I kegged in my brewer's logbook, available
if only
at
there were a place you could write this stuff down.
basicbrewingshop.com. I kegged on March 28th. Here we are, April 10th. So it hadn't been in there that long.
No.
But it's ready to drink right now.
Boy, it really is.
Now, I kegged this one, the darker one, on the 16th.
Oh, that's delicious.
So, so this is the darker one.
Cheers. Well, boy, that's pretty good too.
Surprisingly,
That is actually really good.
it is noticeably sweeter
Yes.
on my palate. But it's still drinkable. It's not gloppy at all.
No, this is just tell somebody it's a winter warmer, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, so it has a little residual sweetness. It's a little thicker. It's a little heavier. Not gloppy. Got plenty of alcohol, so it holds up.
You put a little spice tincture in there.
Yeah.
In fact, I got some clove tincture back here. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to try it. So it's not nasty. Whether I would brew it exactly the same way again? No.
Probably not, but I got to tell you, I think it's a good beer.
It's tasty,
I mean,
but after you, and I've sipped on a couple of these.
It could be a little cloying after a while.
When you get down to the bottom, it's like,
yeah.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, so this is when
it builds up on your palate after a while.
You need like a bourbon chaser.
Well, what you need to do is have this, and every time you drink one of these, you drink one of these, and it clears the palate, and then by the end, you're lying down on the floor.
I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. This is unprecedented. Oh, no, it's a blending.
This is just for that much?
For scientific purposes.
And this much? So about equal pours.
Yes.
I'm a musician, I can do that.
Uncar pluck.
Cheers.
One half portion.
Oh, that's really good.
So
It worked out fine.
So if I'm halfway through the kegs, and I need one, I could just like rack half of one into the other.
That's right. Wow. Well, I like this unintentional experiment because one always wonders about such things.
Yes.
I mean, I've sold a lot of 20 Lovabond Vienna, Crystal. I've sold a lot of Vienna. But I never was able to do, I never personally did a little side-by-side or, what's really the difference here? Even though I knew how each one would behave. So this is very, very interesting. This is how science works. You screw something up.
Yeah, and then you take notes.
Take some notes, and you do it again, and you compare.
I mean, if they had thrown out that moldy bread, we wouldn't have penicillin.
That's right.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. This one, even though the hops were a little bit lower in alpha acid on this one, I think they come through better.
They definitely do, and I'm sure that's because of the sugar.
The crystal malt or the caramel malt dulls the sharpness of the hops in this beer. They're much more fresh and noticeable in this one.
I'm afraid to go here, but I'm going to.
Uh-oh.
When I think of a Helles, I don't think of a Helles as being this hoppy. Just ones I've just bought,
Right.
commercial ones like
Right.
Polliner, and I can't think of the
Right.
brands right now. But when I buy those like Helles, I'm kind of like,
It's more
want some hops.
it's more pilsnerous.
yeah, it's softer. Maybe it's the water,
Ah.
because they're going to use really soft water, and I don't know what you use, but maybe.
I use filtered tap water from Beaver
So
Lake.
it'll still
Water
have
District.
our limestone
minerals, yeah.
yeah, in it. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know, but having said that, these are great beers. I like both of them very much. I do agree with you. This is a little cloying, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
If you cut this one with the other one, I'm gonna have to try it.
You're good to go.
Off camera. All right. One more toast and cheers.
I'm doing the blend.
If you are on our Patreon feed, look for the video. This is water. Timing is perfect.
Perfect.
The water is starting to come up to a boil. We're going to steam juice some mulberries, and then we'll see what Steve does with it later on.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Happy brewing.
Come and visit us online at basicbrewing.com. You can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on homebrewing. You can also find our DVDs and our brewer's logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer.
I didn't know where you were going when you left.
It was a spur of the moment.
Well, it was good. And now I'm turning into Leon Redbone. All right. I want to be seduced.
Take what, baby?